Hey, 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 guys. This is your girl, Charron Monet. We are back. We are back with another conversation with one of course, Pen Legacy Publishing staff members, as well as a very good friend of mine's. So I'm just waiting for her to join. Join us, join us, join us. Make sure you click like and share. This is definitely some more good information. If you enjoyed my conversation yesterday with Tony Moore Esquire, you can definitely check the replay. That is still up on my page. Tonight we are talking to the Tamika Hall, who's going to be giving us some great tips and information on author branding and author imaging. This week is all about the authors. I want to introduce not just one of my team, but give you some good information from people who does it the best. I mean, I'm great at what I do, but there's a whole team and tribe behind me. So I want you guys to be able to talk and communicate with them. Let me see if Tamika's here. Yes, she is. Let's add her. Awesome. She is joining Tamika.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Do I need to put in my AirPods?
No, I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I have you great. Look, I was trying to join you on my computer and then I couldn't figure it out. I was like, let me jump on here before Charron starts going off on me.
I was trying that yesterday, trying to go live on my computer.
Yeah.
Because between these writer eyes and being over 40 eyes, I'm looking at comments like, what? But
okay, listen.
So I'm like, okay, I couldn't figure it out on the laptop, so we here on the cell phone.
Yes. Well, and I'm like, okay, let me plug up my phone. So yes.
That part. Okay, that part. So again, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you just got off of an interview, and now I'm bringing you into another interview. But this is what the Pen Legacy team does, honey. We always stay ready. We always stay ready to educate the folks.
That's it.
Yes, absolutely. So before we get started, thank you guys so much for joining the 8th-year anniversary birthday. And today is our physical birthday. So happy birthday, Pen Legacy Publishing. We did it. 8 years. That's what we do. 8 years, 8 years. Some businesses don't last past 2. So we got enough room to brag. Okay.
Some don't last past the first year.
That part. That part. So this is actually our anniversary week. And instead of just promoting and celebrating our authors, which I do all the time, I actually wanted to bring my team on this week so you can pick their brain, learn some tips and tricks on how to make sure that you're publishing your book to get the most benefit, profit, and legacy out of them. So tonight my name is Charron Monet, even though you guys are on my page, but just in case, you don't see the name up the top, I am Charron Monet, the proud founder and CEO of Everything Pen Legacy. Tonight we are talking to, I'm going to try to say this, but I'm sure I'm going to miss a title somewhere because Dr. Tamika Hall pretty much does it all. So Tamika is a graphic designer. She's an editor. She does typesetting. She does promo. She is an interviewer for Amazon Live.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
We're good. I think that's good for this space.
I like giving people their flowers, honey. Yeah, I'm like, look, say all my titles. I've earned them. Please make sure you say them all. And she's also a mother, okay?
Yeah.
So let's just add the mother in there. So Tamika, thank you so much for joining. I know I briefly introduced, but please let us know who you are, what you do.
Well, it's definitely an honor to be here. You know how much I just absolutely adore you. I just got finished talking about how much you are a purpose bully in my life. I am a purpose bully. So I actually coach and mentor just like you do. And so it's great that God sent you in my life to do the same thing for me. I don't allow other people in my life to accept less than what they deserve. And you've always been that for me as well. And it's been a blessing. And so you really hit the nail on the head when it comes to the things of publishing. when it comes to the world of media. I used to own a radio station, and so you will find me at different times working in the area of PR, also with the media coaching. And it has been cool that Amazon gave me the opportunity to have my own show. And so that's been a lot of fun. I just launched my magazine, Anointed Author Magazine. So I just launched that magazine 2 months ago. And it's been exciting to give authors who actually take the time to produce excellence with their books, avenue and a platform for them to be seen. And so, yeah, that's just a little bit more about me.
Awesome, awesome. So let's dive right in, because time is of the essence, just like media. You got 2 seconds to make an impact, and then you're off the stage. So, so we both work in the author space. This conversation is really going to be geared to helping authors, making sure that they're branding themselves as not just with a cover and a good photo shoot, but making sure that they're picking covers, that they're creating imagery, or even with website and social media, because all of that takes into account. Yes, we can make a good book cover, but it's the entire package.
It's the entire package.
Can you touch on, let's start with covers. Can you touch on what are some of the things that makes a cover a marketable cover? Because we all know people buy with their eyes.
They buy with their eyes, they eat with their eyes. Everything happens with their eyes. And then when it comes to your book, the statistic used to be 8 seconds back in the day. I personally, in this day and age of social media now, I personally, for me, think you have probably a good 4 seconds to capture the attention of somebody. And if they are looking at your book on a digital space, such as Amazon or Barnes and Noble, you have even less than that. And the only thing that's going to catch them, number one, it is the cover. It's the first thing that people see. Your cover is the billboard for your book. And so a lot of times we'll have people, they will have a book that has really great content. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be frank, the cover sucks. Number one, your cover is boring. The cover sometimes is too dark. I mean, does your cover actually complement the content? If, like, for example, if you're writing a book that has to do with love, why you don't want your cover to look like you're going to war? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to look like you don't want to look like Bonnie and Clyde or something like that. And you're talking about being in love, because number one, if people eat with their eyes, if they buy with their eyes, the image is going to evoke an emotion.
Right.
Immediately. You want to pay attention to the colors that you use. I have found that a lot of red, it's not a good color. It does, because number one, there's a lot of people that are colorblind. Right. So reds and greens do not register well. Like, my ex-husband was colorblind, and I learned that reds, he couldn't really see red colors, but also reds make it difficult to read the letters on a book cover. So you have the image of the book cover. You have the colors that you choose to use. You have to choose the mood. Is it going to be a light mood? Is it fun? Is it playful? Again, does it make sense? Your font, is it readable?
Right.
Can we actually read your font? Because and Charron knows, I love beautiful fonts. I love them. But if it doesn't read well on the cover, it doesn't read well. And it doesn't matter how pretty the font is. People are going to see the image. They want to know what the book is.
Right.
And you have to make things easy for people, right? And then when we're looking at that, the font's important. Now we got to talk about, what about your title? Does your title even make sense? Is your title too long? So the image is the billboard. The title gives a little bit more information. And sometimes people will give a super long title, then they give a super long subtitle, and we don't know what is going on with your book, right?
Right.
And so I'm looking at most books. Most books are sold digitally. They're sold in the Amazon market space or Target or somewhere. They're sold like that. So they're not even looking on the back cover.
Right.
But if you are, when it comes to your back cover, if you're fortunate enough that your book ends up inside of a retail store, or somebody happens to see you live, and they like, let's say you're at a festival, you're at a festival, they come, they pick up your book, they're going to look at the cover. People will, and oftentimes people do this. They look at the cover, they flip it over to the back. I'm sorry. have your picture on the back. Make sure that it's professional looking. They will take you more seriously. Please stop putting selfies on your book cover. I don't care what your friends told you. I'm sorry, like we're just being real. I don't care what they told you. A selfie is not sufficient. It is not sufficient. I don't care if you take it on a back wall. It is not sufficient. I realize that we got the AI thing now where people are like trying to do their headshots with AI. I'm not even for that either, because I'm gonna be honest with you. If your selfie didn't look good, why do you think that the AI headshot's gonna look good? Like that doesn't even make any sense, right? So now you just have this AI, and to me, they look computer generated. I don't care what anybody says.
They
it
do.
looks computer. It's corny.
Straight out the Matrix.
Yeah, like honestly, Charron, I would rather somebody go to JCPenney or even to the Walmart photography place and get a professional headshot done. I would rather you do that because you don't have to spend a lot of money in the beginning, but you want that to be professional. What does your synopsis say on the back? And your synopsis is not a chapter. It is literally just the synopsis. It's a snapshot. And
it's a summary.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how you feel. It's almost even less than the summary. You know,
it can be. Yeah, I always tell my authors, your synopsis should be, who are you? What is this book about? What is the reader? How is the reader going to benefit? As long as you answer those three, that's it.
Yeah. Sometimes you tell too much of the story, right? Yeah. It's almost like that, you know, the television, the movie reel that comes out and you've literally seen the whole movie in 60 seconds.
Absolutely.
Right? So absolutely. Those are the things that make a difference. So again, people on camera, on a digital space, they're looking at what does the book look like. They want to know if it's a really good title. Does your title make sense? Does the title capture their attention? Does it resonate with them emotionally? And I'm gonna tell you, I deal with the faith-based space. A lot of times, I'm sorry, believers, you're too deep. You're too deep and people don't get what you're doing. They don't understand you. They don't understand your title. They don't understand the imagery. You don't make sense. You cannot be so super God. And Charron knows I'm a minister. I'm a preacher. I'll preach the house down. But when it comes to business, I don't care. Your book, the content is ministry.
Right.
The content is ministry. But the presentation is marketing.
Right.
And God gives you the ability to do both. He allows your gifts to make room for you. Your gifts will not make any room if you don't make sense. Jesus
Absolutely.
is the best marketer that ever walked the face of the earth. And he did not have social media. He did not have a cell phone. But whenever he opened his mouth, it made sense. And he broke it down so whoever he was talking to understood what he was saying. So when it comes to your book, and we're talking about just the book cover, the title, the synopsis, your picture, that's literally you sharing parable with your potential reader and buyer.
Who made you mad tonight, honey?
It wears me out. It wears me out. Like we do too much. We do too much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we do too much because some people, especially content creators, writers, people who just so eager and excited to tell their story, we don't know when enough is enough.
Yeah.
Period. And that's when you start talking about the title. I know I just had a conversation with an author about the title. It's like, okay, where does the title end and where does the subtitle start? And that is a common theme amongst authors and writers because we don't know where to put the period, especially on a cover. And I'm like, okay, your front cover, your imagery should stand out more than your wording, because if not, your front cover is going to look like a chapter and you've lost people already.
And it makes it, as a designer, it makes it difficult for the designer.
Right. Because now you're trying to design around the picture.
You're trying to design around, yeah. It's like, what? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. And the thing is, we cannot be so married to what we think our ideas are that we don't listen to people who actually know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
Like,
so
yeah.
So as far as, because I know you spoke about we should not be doing selfies for our book covers. So
Now,
for
I will tell you this. I actually did during the pandemic. I
Mhm.
released a cookbook and I took all selfies. Here, here's the difference. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I literally work in the photography space, right?
Right.
I'm a creative director. And so I knew how to pose for my pictures, right? I literally step in and I do that stuff. And I was able to, I mean, when I looked at the pictures, I was like, oh, this actually could work. But for me, I wanted it to be cheeky because I had been doing these meals online through the pandemic, and my audience were like, you need to put these in a cookbook. So because it was pandemic time, we couldn't leave the house anyway. It was okay for me to have selfies. And I used that as a selling point, honestly. And
Okay.
I actually said, y'all, I took every picture in my cookbook. I took my cover. I even showed behind the scenes of me taking my own picture for the cover. I made it work for me though. It was marketing. It was marketing.
And see, and
Yes.
that's the difference, because if you know how to leverage the imagery or the process, then it helps you along the way, because now people feel like they are a part of your process.
Absolutely. That makes
But
it
then
fun.
when it comes to the selfie, should we be putting selfies, whether it's on the front cover or on the back cover, we also have to understand the printing company
That's
that
what it
we're
is.
printing those books through, because between KDP, Ingram, and Lulu and your other, different distributors out here, their quality is different. Some, I know I work with Ingram Sparks. I am not a KDP person nor a fan. And we'll probably have another live about my gripes with KDP, but I
Right.
despise KDP as a
Right.
publisher. But I know for, as you know, since we being angry today, I just figure I get my anger in there. Like,
I'm
no,
angry. I'm
KDP.
passionate.
Yes.
Not just
But
angry, black woman, passionate.
yes. But I know for Ingram, they want you to have high resolution. They want you to have certain pixels, and that's only because when they're printing the book out, you want to maintain the quality of the color. You don't want your color and your design, especially if you have the red as you spoke of, or your dark colors, you don't want that to bleed as it prints. And so depending on, what phone you're using, and you're emailing the selfie or you're texting the selfie, it loses resolution as it keeps going through the
Yes.
transmittal process from your cell phone to somebody's cell phone or via email,
Mhm.
and now they're downloading. So you need to take all of that into account, because it's not just from your cell phone gallery to the book cover.
And I will say this. Now here's the thing. I recognize that people, because I take really good selfies. I mean, listen, years ago I had developed selfie wrist syndrome. I promise, it's a thing. Like, yeah, I was snapping the selfie so much, like I thought I had arthritis in my wrist. So I've learned how to prop it up now. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, it was a thing.
Right.
So I know you can take nice selfies, and my thing is, if you don't have anything else, then make sure that it does look really, really good. But the reason why I am very passionate about it. Hi, Brandy. We see you. Thank you so much, even for your comments, Brandy. We appreciate it. Is because if you're gonna make an investment in publishing your book, then make the investment, including the time investment. It's
Right.
okay if you don't like, it's all right if you did not mortgage your house in order to publish your book, but make smart money choices. And one of those should be getting some nice professional shots done. That doesn't mean you have to go to the photographer. Like, I have a photographer that I work with, and I travel to his studio in Philly. So my clients, I take them for branding shoots. It's not saying that you have to go and drop $1,500 to do that. But like I said, you can go to the mall. They like in Dover, Delaware, they have the picture people
Right.
where you spend 12 $20
I
for a
remember
selfie.
them.
And listen,
Yeah.
and back in the day, even when I was acting, I would go in there, and they knew me, and I would go in there and I would take my pictures. I would have $50. Like, y'all gonna get this 50 Holy Ghost dollars. It's my sitting fee, and I'm gonna buy one or two pictures that I
And
can
yeah.
use, because that's all that I could afford. But I'm gonna tell you why you want that versus your selfie. For me, in the media space, again, I owned a radio station. I owned a radio station. I'm now doing Amazon Live. But just, we're in the media space, period.
Right.
Design, like, I require good pictures
Yeah.
because my stuff is high end.
Right.
My graphics
Absolutely.
are high end. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just being like really honest with you. I'm not going to utilize your janky selfie if it looks bad. If you got a nice one and I can work around it, I'll make it do what it do. But if it looks bad, I'm not working with that
Yeah.
because it brings my imaging down. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I say from the gate, try to, even if you just got to take a little bit more time, if you got to take a couple of checks before you can afford to go get the professional photo, do that. When you work with when you work with the publisher, they're already working on the cover and the interior anyway, so you can say to them, listen, I'm on a budget. Y'all start being honest. Like, this
Yeah,
fake it till you make it
that
is
part.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I really want to get professional photos. I'm not going to be able to get them for the next month. I want to make sure that that's okay. As long as your publisher knows ahead of time, they can work around you, but they can be working on your book while you're getting your imaging right. Your publisher, like if you work with Penn Legacy, all the books that go through Penn Legacy, hands down, most books don't always end up on the Walmart.com or the Target. Every book that goes through Penn Legacy, unless it is an author who they do not listen and they
Yeah.
choose to go their own direction, every book ends up like on Walmart, Target, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, and all of that stuff. It's because the imaging looks good from the book cover to the author. And so everybody's impacted by whether or not you take this process seriously.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So while we on covers, would you suggest, and I'll share my opinion, but I want to hear yours. And thank you guys so much for joining. I see your comments. Hey, Kendra. Hey, Dana. Hey, Brandy. If you have questions, please make sure you drop them in the chat. And if we have enough time, we'll definitely get to answer. If Tamika sees them, I'm sure she'll pop the answer while she's speaking. But as far as covers, what is your take on putting yourself on the cover on your very first book? What's your opinion? Okay.
I think it depends on the book. Now, if it's a fiction novel, no. But if this is like a memoir or some type of, like, let's say you're showcasing your expertise, I personally lean toward you putting your face on it, because you're, at the end of the day, you're going to be selling you anyway, right? Like, to me, every author I've ever worked with, I'm always telling them, I'm like, I know you think this is going to be your only book. I promise you, God never gives us one book. He doesn't. Like, he never gives us one book. You're going to think that you put your heart and soul into this book. And I promise you, y'all, God gave you more. Like, there is more in you. This is the beautiful thing. And listen, y'all, again, I'm a minister, so I'm sorry. I got to take a moment. Do you really think that God would only give you just a little bit to say? We serve a God who talks to us daily. We read his word. You can read the same scripture 5 times and get a different interpretation of it. So if we serve this creator who has never made any mistakes, do you really think that he's going to see you take the dive and take the time and the tenacity and take it seriously enough to sit down and write the book? And you think he's only going to bless you with just one book? Like, absolutely not. You took it seriously. You did it with excellence. He's going to allow you to continue to live off the fruit of your labor and everything like that. And so I am such an advocate of putting your beautiful face or your handsome face on the cover if it's a good picture. If your cover sucks, absolutely not. But I am such an advocate for it, because you're going to want people to know who you are.
Right. Okay, so see, I'm happy I brought that up because I have a different take. So for me, I always say you should wait until at least your 3rd or 4th book, and that's only because I'm more mainstream. For me, and not talking from a marketing standpoint, not so much author branding and imaging, because yes, if I want the world to see me, then yes, I'm putting myself on a cover. Yeah. However, as an author, when it comes to your cover, for me, I want to make sure that I'm rounding up the troops, because sometimes putting your face on the cover too soon can put you in the box.
Huh. I never thought.
And what
I've always considered the fact, I'm like, I'm kicking the box down.
And see, and that's a good point.
I'm like,
but
this whole chocolate face, you're gonna see this chocolate, like she's blackety black. You're gonna see me all up on my cover. And I don't care what race you are, you're gonna get this content, boo. You're gonna get it because I'm the expert. So yeah.
Right. Now if we're doing a book where you're the expert, you're speaking on your expertise, absolutely. Absolutely. That probably should be a hardback and not a paperback. Okay?
True.
But if you're just sharing a guide, a story, or something of that nature, I would rather let the world not see me, gather up the troops, and then shock. Because a lot of times
the content makes the difference.
Yeah,
yeah, like I said,
the content will determine.
Yeah.
Yes, because I mean, your face should, like you said, your face should not go on a fiction book. Your face should not go on mystery or romance. Your cover, your title needs to make sense.
Listen, don't play with me. I'll write a historical romance and go put me on somebody's horse with some man with his shirt open and stuff, girl, and my wig blowing in the wind and stuff. I'm here for it. I'm gonna write it. I'm writing it, and I'm gonna be on that cover. I'm gonna have the guy.
This is why I love different opinions.
I'm gonna have the guy who's like, "Look at me now. Look at your man. Now look at me. Look at your man." He's gonna be on the cover with me, and we're gonna be on a horse. I'm gonna be so on that historical romance. Don't play. It's gonna be painted.
You did not say it's going to be painted. Okay, you know what?
You know, it's like the painted cover, right? Like it's like the portrait. Listen, we're gonna be sitting there like Queen Charlotte. Did you watch Bridgerton?
I watched Queen Charlotte today all day.
Aren't you in love with it?
Oh my gosh, she was so adorable.
And and that's gonna be me. I'm gonna pose for it, and he's gonna be doing a back bend on the horse. I'm like, something's gonna happen. I'm gonna be carrying baskets of fruit or something. I'm gonna be on that historical romance.
Okay, but Tamika, how many books you already have out though?
We're not talking about that. I'm just saying we're gonna kick down the industry. I'm gonna be on there.
Right, but until we kick down the industry, do we? Right. My whole thing is are you trying to be mainstream to whereas your book resonates? Because remember, your cover will dictate who people assume the book is for.
And you're right though, and I will tell you this. Even my very, very, very first book, I wrote a book. I ended up changing the title, and it ultimately became "Love Doesn't Leave Bruises," and it's a guide for teens to recognize and to leave abusive relationships. And I did not put my face on it ever.
Mm-hmm.
I think initially, like in the end, I ended up putting my face on it, but that's after it had gone to its third printing. And at the time, like I had a youthful glow, this 42-year-old face, but I had this youthful glow,
right?
And and
Carla,
and my hair was like in the wind like this. And so I had this youthful glow. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, I got to show it to you, girl. It was banging. I had one Mrs. Maryland. I was like 28, and I had gone to this photographer, and my body was banging back then. Like you couldn't tell I'd had children, and my hair was flying in the wind machine. That's what I call the fan. It's not a fan. It's a wind machine. And so I redesigned the cover, and I ended up on there in the third printing. But no, I didn't put my face on there initially. And so I am actually in agreement with you, depending on the content. Y'all, this is what Charron has to deal with. She'll call me about one thing, and it's like it's over. But, and people did. They really came to know, learned about my expertise actually first. And you're right. I ended up like, that spawned a major speaking career.
Yeah.
Where I traveled for years, y'all, making 4 and 5 figures for a 60-minute conversation, but it was with a book that did not have my face on it. You're absolutely right. Right.
That's my point. That's my point. Because when you put your face,
you're right.
Yeah, when you put your face on the cover too soon, those who probably would be your ideal audience will feel like, especially if you're of the different race, genre, different thing, they get to judge you to say, okay, you know what? She is pretty. I love her flow and hair, but I don't know if her content is going to work with me because we're in two different spaces. Now this is just the marketing brain. whether if I don't put my picture on the cover and I give you a nice abstract imagery, flowy, maybe, you know, you just see the hair blowing in the wind, but you don't see the texture of the color of the person, it
Let me be
opens
honest with you. A crying white girl on the cover. When the book very first came out, I had actually gone through a different a publishing company. I didn't do it myself. They put flowers on there, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
So when I learned, that's how I got into publishing and design, was because I was unhappy with the process. I think a lot of us did that.
Right.
And so when I redesigned it, I found this picture of this girl with this teardrop. It was such a haunting picture, and she was a white girl. I mean, my name was still Tamika. I think it was still Tamika. I think it was Johnson back then. It was Tamika Johnson. I had a white girl on the cover. Man, I hate when I'm proven wrong. In the same conversation.
See?
Gosh. I went against my own formula. But no, I agree with you. In thinking like that, you're absolutely right. I had to think about it. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because
but it's
especially
sad for us. People,
it's
sad for us because then we have to do that.
It is very sad for us because, and especially in the space of the world that we're in now, where everything is so black and white. Not saying a white crying girl is going to sell more copies than the black crying girl, but
we literally are people of color, not just black, but people of color. Because we live in this world, we don't care. If we want the content, we're going to buy it. We don't care what's on the cover. And it's just, and you're absolutely right.
It's a difference.
And the truth is, I have published over 20 books now, so I'm in a place where I don't care about whether or not you see this blackety black face on there. And I say blackety black, not for myself down. I love my chocolate skin. But it is entirely too dark for a lot of spaces.
Absolutely. And then that can also affect you, not just with your book sales from reaching all cultures, but it will limit you of, you know, different book events, speaking engagements,
that's true,
book awards, because yes, your content may be great, but your cover already shows me who you are, and we may already have enough of black and brown people already on the stage. So now you're going to be eliminated just because of your cover alone.
But you know, Charron, in bringing that up, I think this puts us in a space where when you go to publish a book, it's time to consider what is my goal for this book,
and who is my audience?
Who is my audience? Do I care about book awards and reaching mainstream media? Do I care about that? If you don't, then have at it. Do whatever you want. Put a monkey on there. You know what I mean? Put some chocolate milk on there and see what happens. But you're absolutely right. You know, if you want the book awards, and I'm telling you, I don't care what anybody says. Like, those awards, they are so biased. I used to be a judge. I think I was the token black girl. I was the token black girl, and I never saw any of us. Like the 100 books I would read, I did it for like 4 years. I never saw one of us in the running.
Yeah. And I'm a voting member for the NAACP Image Awards, and even with the NAACP Image Awards, I can maybe count on one hand how many people had their picture on the cover.
Really? See, that's interesting, and that's good stuff to know.
Yeah. So it really, as authors, when we're starting our creative process, we have to come to the understanding of who is my audience.
That is the
and
truth.
How
Absolutely.
far I want this book to reach.
Yes.
Because if you're comfortable with it staying in the urban market, and you see I put air quotes because that's a real thing.
Yeah.
If urban market is your goal, then put you on there. But if you want mainstream, all 7 continents, worldwide, global based, until your name and picture gets established,
that's
too soon. Because if I put my picture on there before I get established, people will see my face before they see my expertise.
Good point.
That's why for me, I put my face on my book cover on my fourth book after Charron was already the award-winning bestseller, dot, 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 dot. So then this way, when they saw my face, you couldn't put me in a box because when you read my bio, I've already done the mainstream thing.
And it's just so funny because I didn't realize that, you know, when I came out with that book in 2005, I didn't realize that I was already thinking like that. But you're absolutely right. Like by the time I put again, it was the third printing. I had changed the title because the title initially was He Loves Me Not, I Love Me, I Love Myself. So when I tell y'all to change your daggone title, I mean it.
Yeah.
Because then I still had a subtitle, a teen girl's guide to understanding and conquering dating violence.
That's a paragraph.
So it was my first book. Okay. And then I changed. But then when I changed the title to Love Doesn't Leave Bruises, it picked up traction.
There it goes. Less is best.
And I still had the subtitle, but Love Doesn't Leave Bruises was hitting.
Right.
And that actually came, I think it came like in my pageant days. And I happened to say it. I was like speaking to a senator. I was on Capitol Hill. And they were like, well, you know, why are you here? I was like, because love doesn't leave bruises. And I was like, yo, that's so poignant, girl. You say good stuff. You say good stuff, girl. And you know, and so then I changed it.
Absolutely, less is best.
And then by the time I put my face on there, traveling the country speaking, I had won awards for the book. It was a textbook on a university level. I didn't realize that was the formula, but yeah, that's exactly how it went for me. That's a good point. You made a really good point.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Hi, Ashley. Hi, I think that's Charlene. Hello.
I don't see these people, but hi, y'all.
Hey, I see them popping in. Hey, welcome. We are speaking today with Dr. Tamika Hall and regarding your author image and branding. So definitely we just had a great conversation on covers. So if you missed it, make sure you hit the replay because all of that great information about covers will help you make good decisions, better decisions when it comes to your cover, especially if you are in a self-publishing space. So Tamika, so we have our cover, you know, we're doing our book. Now we're ready to get media.
Yeah.
You did speak briefly about the selfies. When it comes to media and us wanting to pitch, because now, you know, we have this book, honey, that we feel is the only book in America, and it's the best book in America, and it's our story. And I'm the author, and I'm the creator, and I want everybody to learn and read my book. Do you have any tips that authors can do outside of get a photo shoot, which I definitely agree. I swear, every time I work with a different coach, that's the first thing that they say, you need a photo shoot. And I'm like, how many photo shoots? I don't change, okay? I look, this same face is the same face you see on my baby picture.
But your last photo shoot was fire, though.
Oh, thank you. But okay, so let's talk about that. How many photo shoots do we need? Like, how long does an image last? Like, if I just had my photo shoot done in December. Shout out to Ari and her whole team for doing my photo shoot. When should I actually go get another photo shoot? Because some people will try to get you a photo shoot, child, after 2 months after you just got a photo shoot. Well, how long is the lifetime of, or the lifespan of pictures?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I think people have different views on this. Like, I know some people that they literally just work this into their budget where they are getting photo shoots every 3 to 6 months, right? I'll be honest with you, I'm still rocking with pictures from 2020 and 2021. Because I just, even though I'm there and I'm directing the photo shoot, by the time I get done directing a photo shoot, I'm exhausted. And even though my photographer would be like, hey, jump in here, you know, I'm tired because I've given a lot to my client. So, but I definitely think if your imaging changes, like for me, you're typically gonna see me with this hair. Like you're typically gonna see me with the part down, whatever. But if you start looking different, I think you need to get a photo shoot, right? And I'm not saying if for 1 week you decide to put a ponytail in your hair, go get a photo shoot. But if that becomes your signature look, I think it's important to get a photo shoot. I mean, you know, and even though we as women, I'm gonna tell you something, because I know we age beautifully. And yes, you still look like your photo, but I think you're even more beautiful now than the pictures that you had before, right? So when you age a little bit and you come into your maturity, because some of that is your confidence is even different, right? I think you should get a
Absolutely.
photo shoot. When you start feeling good about yourself, if you have that transformation, I think you should go and get yourself a photo shoot. But definitely, if you have significant changes in the way that you look, if you start wearing your hair differently, you're going to want to get a photo shoot, right? People like to know, it's just human nature. You want to see who you see, right?
Right.
And so I think that's important. So I probably would have had more photo shoots done by now. I've just been busy, and so for me, I'm like, my photo shoots, my photos work. And I do need to get some more. I am a little spoiled because I do work with a photographer, so he does usually get me in like one or two shots. So I always kind of have something that's coming. But yeah, definitely, if your look changes, when you put, when you've aged a little bit, and you're just beautiful. If you've lost a significant amount of weight, if you've gained weight, like if you've gained weight and you're happy with it, I would say get yourself a photo shoot, right? Like if you love how you look, y'all, I put on some pounds. I love my pounds. Time for me to get a photo shoot because y'all gonna get all these pounds, honey. So yeah.
Now, okay. So, but is it required for authors? Is it like it will a media person, if I'm pitching myself for an interview or I'm trying to brand myself on social media, the website, is that necessary? Like, does media or people, are they judging me, or are they looking
Yeah.
to make a decision based on my imagery?
Absolutely. People do it. We people buy with their eyes. That means they even buy you. Even buy you.
Mm.
I actually I even to how I show up on social media. If I choose to go on social media and I don't have on makeup, like there's just certain way, even if I'm not wearing makeup, there's just some ways I'm not going to show up on media because people pay attention. People make a decision whether or not it's just what they do. We can be mad about it all day long. It just is what it is, right? But I think if you have great photos and they're on your website, then you already have presented yourself a certain way. However, I'm gonna tell you something. Even as a singer, I remember one time I was brought into a church and I had changed my hair. I went from having hair to having locks. And I went to the church and the girl was like, "What made you do that?" This
Mm.
was a church that brought me in. They flew me into they flew me into lead service. This was in Texas. And she was like, "So what made you do that?" And I was in love with my locks. But she was used to my hair being flowing.
Right.
That's what she wanted to see. And we're talking about even people who love God, they expect to see what they see. And so I think that even for authors, understand that your image does make a difference. There are some people who I have seen where they'll do interviews and they don't come on camera. I'm sorry, I think that's stupid. That's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
But they are able to get away with it. Like they are selling, like they are selling machines. They're like they are a household name, so they can get away with it. But as a consumer, like there's this one, and I love romance novels, but there's this one lady that writes, and I happen to find her because I just love Audible because I edit so many books. I don't really pick up books and read them anymore because I'm like, oh my God, I need somebody to read to me.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with her books, and then I saw this was this last week. I saw that she was on somebody's YouTube. I was like, oh my God, I want to see her. She didn't even come on camera. So you had the host that's like on camera, and she just had a black screen. I didn't even listen to it. Picture
Mm.
connects you to your reader.
Right.
Media
Right.
and y'all are attracted to attractive people. I don't care what you think. Be attractive. Okay? Have your look like something, please. Make sure that your pictures look good, please. People are attracted to that.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you the cold hard facts. And it's not
Yeah.
me on a personal level. I'm not sitting around. I don't judge women. You don't do that as a media person. You're not sitting around judging women. But as a media person, you are going to say, is my audience for the cover of my magazine? Somebody who shows up a certain way, are they going to look good on my magazine? Because I know I might love you all day, but is your face going to make people want to look at the magazine?
Yeah.
I was like, man, there was somebody I had considered them for the cover, and I'm like, yo, by the cover. Y'all, like, so your face literally determines ratings and sales. Your media person determines that. So yes, it makes a difference, even for the author.
Yeah, and I'm happy you spoke about that as far as the cover of magazines, because you have a lot of authors who do want to be on the cover. They want the full spread. They want that imagery. Even when, if you're interviewing for radio, you have the flyers. But when the thing that I have learned with media is, just like as authors, we have to think of how far we want our reach. Who is our target audience? Media has to keep their audience in mind, because for them it's all about rating. If
Charron,
I put you on this show, then it's like,
people are literally spending. I had one of my mentees, and because I'm passionate. I'm not angry. I'm passionate, and I went off.
Yeah.
She had spent a couple of $1,000s to be on a billboard. She paid for her magazines, and there is nothing wrong with that, y'all. Like, sometimes if you want to be in certain things, you got to pay to play.
Right.
You think, y'all, even some celebrities are paying to be in stuff. So y'all don't believe the hype that if they really want you, they're no, because there's somebody that's willing to pay to be on the cover, and they're paying for the feature. People pay for PR.
Right.
People, listen, y'all, I work PR as a publicist. I've worked for and some of y'all that are authors, you're also artists. I've worked PR. Some of my artists have hit the Billboard charts, y'all. We paid for it.
Yeah.
For the radio spin.
Yeah, this stuff is not free. This is not free. Your book and your Amazon bestseller is not going to get you a placement.
It's honestly, and no, it's y'all think people that are making it on the New York Times bestsellers list, do y'all really think that they didn't put any money into that? Nope. There's money that got put there, that put them there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
These people that are on Billboard charts. Now, there are some people that they learned how to work the system. So I've seen people who have really large choirs that were able to make it to the Billboard charts. I know we're talking about authors, but I just want to put it in perspective for y'all.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I've been the publicist for radio, for record labels, and at minimum, to make just the top 100 Billboard charts, you got to spend at least 10 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least $10,000. And y'all, we're talking about in a 3-month period. I'm not talking about over 6 months, right? So this is a person, an author, she paid for billboard space, and it wasn't even her own billboard. Like, so she spent money to be one of like 10 on the billboard. She spent money for a digital cover, and I'm just keeping my eyes closed because I don't want anybody to think I'm judging. So I'm gonna keep my eyes closed on that. For a digital cover and a digital spread. She spent money for a radio tour and used selfies. Why? And I asked her, why did you waste your money? And I said, I promise you, you're not going to get another radio interview. You're not going to have any bookstore placement. You will not get one speaking engagement. You drop like $3 grand. Able to say, I'm on this digital magazine, which is not even a real magazine. Okay, I'm just saying. You spent all this money to do that, be on a billboard, to be on somebody's show, and nobody can even take you seriously. Nobody can even take you seriously. So you literally wasted your money.
Yeah.
When all you had to do was spend $3,000, baby, please, or less, and go book you a top dog photographer, makeup artist, and stylist, and position yourself. Listen, I just gotta say this. If you're an author, you're not just an author. Like, I'm getting really close to the camera because I'm so passionate about this. You're not just an author. Mm-hmm. I'm speaking to people who, you are a minister. I'm speaking to people on here, you're a pastor. I'm speaking to, you're a business owner. You're a lawyer. You're all of these different things. You're not just an author. Being an author doesn't make you thousands of dollars. You make money from speaking engagements. You make money because people bring you in and they want to endorse you. You make money because you can sell workshops and you can sell master classes. Who do you think is going to do it? It's not your book, it's your face.
Right.
Invest in your own face.
Yeah.
You're for media, and you show up like McDonald's. You want people to take you seriously like filet mignon. McDonald's, it's not even real meat anymore.
That part.
About it. I don't want people wasting their money.
Yeah.
Much bigger than that. You're so much bigger than the book. And Charron, we get this all the time. People, they publish the book, and then you got people who they don't want to invest in anything because they just think that God is gonna like supernaturally just bring them all of this press. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. And that is, I see that a lot in, different coaching groups, author groups, throughout social media, where you'll have people that say, you don't have to hire a publisher. You can just upload the KDP. It'll work itself out. Or you don't have to hire this person, because, it'll magically happen. And it's like, okay, I've been in the literary industry for 30 years. As much as I believe in our Father, I ain't never opened up my door and see suitcases of money from my books.
Never. You got to work.
I had to invest in that. And I'm happy you also brought up the point that your book is not going to make you a millionaire.
No.
I always tell people your book is bait to a bigger situation. Your book is bait to the coaching program. Your book is bait to the speaking engagement. Your book is bait to the script. Your book is bait for the bigger situation. It's not the situation. However, if the book bait is not right, the dream is over.
It's a repellent.
It's over.
Because nobody buys it.
Right.
So we're talking about branding and imaging. And I know we're talking about the pictures, we're talking about the cover. Even if we talk about the inside, people aren't taking time to actually write quality content.
Right.
Y'all, don't you believe the hype that you can go to Chat GPT or some AI thing and have them write a whole book for you? First of all, they can be powerful tools if you use them properly. But number one, they don't write enough information. They give you the bare bones of something. Like it's not. It's not.
And it's not authentic. Yeah, and it's not authentic. And that's another thing. I'm happy you brought up the interior of the book, is because one, people buy the book to understand the author or to learn from the author. When you use programs to write your book or other different things of that nature, even if you hire a ghostwriter, you want to make sure that when your reader reads that book, they hear you. It should almost sound as if you're talking to them as they're reading it.
And then on top of this, can we please just talk about, y'all, please. You wrote a book and you don't think it's long enough. 14 and 16 and 18 point font. I had somebody submit a manuscript. It was 22 point font, literally. And then
were they blind? Was it for the legally blind?
No, it was not. It was because they didn't feel like they said there weren't a lot of pages. Well, then sat down, as in past tense. I was intentional about that. Sat down. There's more.
Yeah.
Hire a coach who can help you bring more. We do this. We can bring more out of you in the story. Because I'm gonna tell you something. You got a great cover. Look, okay, if you went this route, you got a great cover, you got a great picture, but then you get to the interior, people don't want to waste their money.
Right.
9 cents on Kindle. People are gonna say they should have wrote more.
Yeah. Your reviews are going to not show up right.
Yeah, you said that you went through this, so why did you only have 15 pages? I've actually had people who are not in the industry who have said to me about books, I could tell this was only like 15 pages. Why did they charge me $20 for this book? I promise you, you lost somebody. They will never buy another book from you. So when you put out a book, like I said, I'm telling you, literally can create between 7 to 10 or more streams of income from one book if you know how to position yourself well. And it's all about how you show up, from you, the cover, the interior. It is all the image, right? And every reader is a potential fan who brings other people. So they're a fan. So they're going to they're going to gobble up every single book. They're going to buy every single program. They're going to come to every live event. You know what I mean? So y'all stop thinking of yourself as I'm just a poet. You don't see how poets
I'm just an author
right now?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, y'all, people are blowing up because they're not
yeah.
just selling the book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's go back with the interior because you spoke about the font size. I'm just going to add one and bring on stop sending your books in double space. It's not an essay. Because
I'm
again,
gonna make it
you
one
have
point.
yes, you have avid readers who we may think as authors or writers, we don't look at how our books are being judged. And this is all a part of branding. This is all a part of imagery
It's
because it's
all.
representation of you. So when you know how you submit your books or if you're self-publishing, how you publish your books, yes, people are reading the story, but I'm only going to enjoy and read the story if the presentation looks like a story.
I mean, yeah. And how many books have you bought just because you knew the person? So y'all, your very first book, you're gonna get people who love you. They're gonna buy your first book. The people who love you, like your family and stuff, they're probably not gonna. They very well may not buy the second, third, fourth, and fifth book because everybody's
Right.
like they love you, but they don't rock with you like that. So because listen, if every person that you knew bought your book, you would still not be a millionaire. You wouldn't even be 100-naire, okay? Or 1,000-naire.
Yeah, because we ain't gonna talk about the royalties.
Right, because every time you release a book, somebody's not gonna buy from you because they're like, "Yo, what? I gotta support you every time you buy a book, girl. Get your life right."
Yeah.
So you want to expand your brand. And Carla said, Carla, y'all, who is an incredible editor. I
Yeah.
know I think you probably already
She'll be on tomorrow
okay.
talking all things editing.
Y'all think I'm hard. Carla, she don't play when it comes to that. And Carla says, she says you cannot trick the reader. You'll only trick yourself out of future sales. And you really
That
will.
is true.
And I know she's going to talk about the editing, but again, y'all, this is all a part of branding and imaging and how you show up. For the author who says, I don't need an editor. Charron and I, we've been doing it. Sharon's been doing it for 30 years. I've been doing it going on 20. I still hire an editor, and I'm an editor.
Yeah. 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 And I have an editor. And yeah. And I still don't like to see red.
And I promise, and I promise you, you're not as good of a writer as you think you are. So just get out of your feelings about it and show up because Boo Boo and Pookie and Peaches and them, who can barely put together 3 words properly, all of a sudden they're going to become grammatical gurus, and they're going to be like, you had typos all over your book, and they can't speak well. Like, you can't. What you say? You need a translator because they can't speak well. But all of a sudden, they're gonna listen. I'm trying to tell you, everybody that you think is supporting you, let you show up with the ugly, janky cover. Say something to you. They're gonna hurt your feelings. They're gonna be like, they're gonna be like, oh, did you get Sharon's little book? It's gonna be the little book. Did you see Sharon's little book?
Not the little book.
A little book. You know how Black people do. Sharon, this oh, that's good. Sharon, cute little book here. But it's like telling somebody those some cute shoes when they want to really tell you that your baby's ugly. Listen, y'all, don't show up with the ugly baby.
Please don't.
The ugly baby, not when you can control it.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a team such as the Penn Legacy Publishing team that can walk you through this process. And make sure that you're showing up because like Tamika has said, Carla's saying in the comments, if you don't show up right, if your whole book packaging imagery is not right, it will only affect your future sales.
And y'all stop thinking that you have to buy a car to look good. You gotta budget your money to the right things. I think people don't.
And also, wait, Tamika, and also on that point, be okay with extending your deadline or your release date. Because a lot of authors put the pressure on themselves. Like I had a aspiring author contact me today who wants to hire Penn Legacy. So Carla, Tamika, I'm about to be in y'all emails. But she's like, hey, I want my book to come out in June. Like, do you understand the pressure you're about to put yourself under? Because June
right now for us.
Like June is 3 weeks.
This is June. Like right now, this is June. I see it. This is June.
Right. So when you put that amount of pressure on yourself, even if you give yourself 2 months, 3 months, you haven't allotted for life to happen, time to happen, money to happen, cancellations and whatever you were trying to plan, but you're still trying to get this book out because your release date is June 1st or July 4th, and the book's not prepared, the packaging is not right, and then now the book is out, you're happy, you're excited, and it's too late because now the
And I
book is
promise
out,
you,
the typos
yeah.
is there, you haven't officially lived with or slept with your cover, you haven't put together a marketing plan, you haven't put together, you know, a tour or whatever it is all you want to do. You start working after the book is released, and let me tell you, from a publishing and author standpoint, anything you do after the book release is already too late,
Because
period.
listen, I mean, there's a book I'm working on. I haven't even determined when it's going to come out. I haven't even finished writing it. But all my social media, the way I show up, the videos that I'm posting, they're all leading up to it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it, but the content is reflecting the type of book that I plan to release. And
Yes,
and you know,
it's a marathon. It's like I always tell
yeah,
people, you never see actors when they're about to release a movie. You never see them that Thursday or the day that the movie drops in theaters doing a press tour.
they've already been doing the press junkets.
They've already been doing a press tour. So then this way, once the book drops, they got their feet up watching the money hit the bank account.
Charron, you brought up a good point when you said you're putting pressure on yourself, because see, a mistake that authors make is they will come to a publishing company and they assume that the pressure is on the company. Listen, we're gonna get the work done. We're professionals.
Right.
We know how to, like, we literally, we did a turnaround. We cranked out a book in 3 days. This was from the design of the interior, the cover, everything. We had everything done within like 3 to 4 days, and it
Right.
was available for sale. This is what we do. So we understand how to do that. It is pressure on you, because this is the thing. When you don't show up well, you'll do, like, if you want your book to be edited, you're gonna automatically want to extend your deadline 3 to 4 weeks, not for the editor's sake, but because once the
For
editor gets done doing what they're doing, they're going to give it to, and Carl's going to talk about it, but whatever. Like you said, live with the cover. I'm not even going to tap into editing. I'm going to let her do that tomorrow. But when it comes to the cover, do you even have a vision for your cover? It's not okay. I told a client of mine this morning, I said, listen, I gave you the opportunity to tell me what you want your cover to be. What the information you gave me doesn't tell me that at all. You're just describing the mood. So you're leaving it up to me to interpret what your cover should look like. Listen, y'all, please understand, you don't hire the publishing company to design unlimited covers. We don't do that.
yeah, yeah. This is not an art gallery.
Yeah, so when you put pressure on yourself, you don't sit down and say, what do I really want? How do I want this book to show up in the world? Do I want my face on the cover, or do I feel like there should be a rainbow on the cover? Should it be a meadow? Am I married to a certain color? Like, should it be purple? You know, I mean, do I want my cover to be dark? Do I want to evoke fear? Do I want people to feel happy? If you put pressure on yourself, you don't think about those things. And so then when you have Charron, what do you want your cover to look like? And what people always do, they'll say, oh, do what you do. I'm gonna tell you something. You can't come back to me and say, yeah, I'm not feeling that. Okay, because I'm gonna send you an invoice. It's like, your poor planning is not my problem.
Yeah.
You received $500 service. Just because it wasn't what you were feeling, it doesn't matter. You didn't put the time in to make sure that it was what you even thought. So, like you said, be willing to, like, let things breathe a little bit. Give yourself grace. I'm gonna
Yeah.
like, how many times have we sent somebody their book back and we even talk about you, y'all? Charron had a whole children's book done, including the illustration. Y'all, I had the whole book done. Events happened in the world. She said, I'm not releasing that book, because one of the characters in the book, he ended up in the news, and it's like, yo, he's not a positive Black role model anymore. He already had, like, y'all, the book, all she had to do was hit publish.
Yep.
And then sir pops up in the news. It's like, we're not, this is a children's book. And Charron has shown up now. She's all over the place as a children's book author. She would have still made sales, but her convictions wouldn't allow her to release the book. Y'all, just because she's a publisher doesn't mean she doesn't pay us, right? She had paid for illustrations. She paid for the editing of it. I think Carla did that. She paid for the design of the book. She put money out, and it wasn't chump change, y'all. She doesn't skimp on us, okay? And she said, I'm not releasing this book.
Yeah, and still haven't released it. It's still not released.
It's been almost a year now.
Yeah, yeah. And that's because as an author, I also have to be respectful of my name. Because my name is a brand. A lot of authors don't see that. My name is a brand. People will Google my name. And whatever shows up
before your book.
Absolutely. And whatever comes from my name will determine if they're going to book me, hire me, or connect with me. So also when it comes to your books, you want to make sure that what you're putting out there is going to shed positive light or hiring light when you're Googled. Because best believe before a reader or a media person or publicist or whoever you hired says yes, you got Googled. But you've been researching on social media.
What a blessing. I mean, because it literally was, y'all, we're talking about like, it was like within 24 hours. And I think we were actually waiting for the electronic book to be done.
Yep.
And then the news breaks across the world about who was actually a prolific Black role model. I'm waiting. I'm trying to finish up the electronic book. Y'all, 24 hours, the world shifted. Honestly, I think that's a God thing, right?
Yeah.
And
yes.
And so I'm not saying that you're gonna like pay Charron to come through to her company and you're gonna be like, okay, I don't want to do this. But you still might get your manuscript back and be like, you know what? I've changed since I wrote this 6 months ago, and I need to redo this chapter.
Yeah.
I'm a different person.
Yeah.
I was bitter when I wrote this 6 months ago. I'm in love today.
Well, exactly. And so that's why you need to give yourself grace when it comes to your release date. Because once it comes back from editing or even typesetting, you may get a shift. And now it's like, okay, but we have to release it by Friday in order to meet your release date. That's pressure for now to you to say, okay, well, just go ahead, it's fine. But that go ahead is fine may go against your brand or may bring you energy that you necessarily don't want to be brought because you're past it now. So we cannot put timelines, deadlines, and limitations on our date. We need to make sure that our brand is in order, our imagery is in order, our show up is in order, and that's just not what we post on Facebook. I'll say Google. Everything, internet, period. As soon as somebody go on their phone and go to the internet, you need to make sure that all your ishness, as Tony say, she was our guest yesterday, you need to make sure that everything shows up, because one bad article or one bad post or one bad comment can affect everything. So I want you guys to really take heed. This definitely was a powerful conversation, but your book is a small piece. But your brand and your image, how you show up, will determine if your book, and I'm saying if, strongly, capital IF, if you will be able to accomplish the goals and things set forth for your book.
Yeah.
So definitely. So Tamika, before we again, thank you guys so much. We have been talking author branding, imaging with the Dr. Tamika Hall. Is there any last tips, suggestions, things that we can do, authors can do, to make sure that they are showing up, whether they're self-publishing, getting ready to come to Pen Legacy Publishing? What are some tips? What are some tips you have for them?
I think the only thing I would just say is when you come to Pen Legacy, educated. learn a little bit about the industry, right? Because y'all, it's it's a full-blown publishing company, and there really isn't a lot of time for hand holding. And so learn something about the industry.
That again.
Yeah, like there really isn't time, because again, if you got a person that's saying, hey, I want to be released by June 15th, I promise you, it's like nobody's being mean to you, but nobody has time to explain to you, when you go to create your account with the book distributor that we set you up with, do you put in your EIN or your social security number? Like, come on, yo. Like, we don't have time. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be professional. Like, we don't have time to do that with you, right?
Right.
So there's some things like show up educated. Learn a little bit about what's going on. And there's a lot of books about publishing, right? And actually, Charron, if you're coming to Penn Legacy, Charron wrote a book about publishing your book. So I would suggest buying her book. It's a quick read, but it's a powerful read. You'll learn about the process of publishing so that you understand what's going on. Because while you're in the publisher, it is not our job to brand you.
Yeah.
Make sure that we present a marketable book that is going to show up in a space where Target and Walmart, their buyer will say, yep, this can go on our virtual shelf.
Yeah.
Sure. So our job is not to sit around and tell you how to get a media interview, right? So there are things that you can be doing. We shouldn't have to tell you, listen, you should be doing lives. That's not our job. If that information is given to you, it's a blessing. It's a nicety, but unless you pay for the coaching that comes from that, that's not the job of your publisher. The publisher's job is solely to produce a marketable book. And then I would say, when you work with a publisher like Penn Legacy, be like, it's okay for you to be firm in the things that you want and in your convictions. But understand, number one, like, know the publisher that you're going to work with. Some publishers, honestly, they're not nice. And I'm going to be honest with you, they don't know what they're doing. But when you're working with a company who has worked with Miss Evelyn Braxton, y'all, we have worked with high-profile actors and television producers, and we're working with people that are not just in the book industry, but y'all, they are in television, they're in show business. And we work with people that you haven't even heard about yet, because we're bound and gagged and we can't do that. So be open that if it's said, like, look, what you're asking for, it's not going to work in this size, or it's not going to work like what you're asking for, it might work a little bit better like this. Understand that if you push back on it, you're not going to get somebody that's going to argue with you, right? So somebody's not going to argue with you and say, no, I really think. It's a conversation where it's like, listen, I think that your book works better in this size. I think that these colors work better. Because Charron, I like, for example, if I design a cover, I usually, because I just design until I get tired. So sometimes I'll give somebody 5 and 6 covers. I'm glad I make them.
Then you do.
And what happens is Charron looks at it and she's like, yo, I like number 6. That's the one, right? She understands that she's looking at it from the marketing space where her books have been on the New York Times bestsellers list, right? So she's giving you this information. Understand that if you push back, you're not going to get pushed back from us. If you say, I want to have a 20-word subtitle, I'm going to say, all right, cool.
Yeah.
What is marketable? I gave you what the stores are going to want. I'm not going to push back on it. Like, it's not my job to coddle you like a child and say, baby, no, I really think that, you're great. You're a superstar. And this is, and I'm going to say, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So be educated, understand, and be open to, especially if you're going to invest in somebody like Penn Legacy, understand that we know what we're talking about. And just know that at the end of the day, it all falls back on you. So make sure that you give yourself that time, that grace, and that you're proud of what you produce. Be proud of what you produce. And I promise I'm wrapping it up because I know I can be like verbose. But like, there's so many times that I work with authors, we give them things, and then they'll come back with a laundry list of things that they want. And then they'll say, what do you think? I think I gave you what I thought was the best thing the first time. So if this is what you want, this is what I'm going to do. Because what's going to happen is you can't turn around later and say, well, you told me to go with 15 of the 20 and I really wanted all 20. We're not going to do that. Like legally, we cannot do that, Tamika.
Yes.
Just
Absolutely.
recognize you really, even it's self-publishing, right? Like it's still self-publishing. You're working with a publishing company, but it's self-publishing, and the buck begins and stops with you.
Yeah. And you brought up so many more points, and we're not going to go on for another hour because you tap dance in a whole lot of my pet peeves. But the one thing that I will touch is creative control. Is because that is one of the things that I pride myself on, is being able to give you the room and the space to create the project that you want. This is your baby. This is not my baby. And I have authors all the time ask me, so what do you think? And I'm like, I legally cannot give an opinion, because if I give an opinion and it backfires, now you want to hold me liable. And with the space and the society that we live in, where any and everybody will judge you in court of public opinion and district court, I'm not bringing that kind of burden onto myself. And even your traditional publishers, they'll give you their opinion. Like Tamika said, I'll give you what I know will work. If what I know will work is not what you want, this is not a debate. I am not going to debate you on your project, because at the end of the day, I'm not selling it. Tamika's not selling it. Tony's not selling it. Carla's not selling it. You have to sell it. So this is where definitely coming in educated, or I've had some authors who hire me for coaching first before we start the publishing process, because they want to be educated. So then this way, by the time I do start delegating their work out and they have to decide on a cover, we're not doing 7, 8, 12 covers and you still asking for opinions. You're coming to the table with a clear understanding of marketing, advertising, branding. You have your pictures and everything together. Your social media is cleaned up. Your Google is ready. So then this way, by the time we start working, we can knock your book out in 30 days. Because you did the coaching prior to. But if you're not going to do the coaching prior to, and you just ready to show up in the world because you can, that comes with consequences, and just be prepared to deal with them.
Yeah.
But if we at Pen Legacy Publishing can help you, save you, support you, definitely, make sure that you reach out to us. Tamika, thank you so much.
Thank you
For joining us today. You definitely dropped a whole lot of passion nuggets, purposeful I can't even get it out. Purposeful nuggets when it comes to author branding and imaging, because I don't think authors look at the complete package. We're just excited we have a book. That's it.
And I get it.
We're just excited. Like, you have people that, sign their deal with a record label. They're just happy that they have a deal. They don't know nothing. They probably ain't even read the contract, child. They just happy that their album going to drop at Christmas. And books is the same way. Folks is like, girl, I'm about to drop my book. I'm excited. And we're not understanding that that book is a part of a bigger picture. And it's a business. It's definitely a business. And if you want to be profitable, my favorite word, if you want to be profitable and you want your book to outsell you, legacy here, because just remember, books never die. They don't die. As long as that ISBN number is live, so is themselves. So don't hurt yourself before you get started. Okay? So Tamika, tell us where they can reach you. Definitely, shout out your businesses. Yes, Tamika works with and for Pen Legacy, but Tamika, tell us what you do on the side, honey. We all got side hustles.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm the creator of Smell Pretty deodorant gummies. If you go to smellpretty.net, you'll be able to grab those. We are the first deodorant gummy. It is 100% plant-based. It's like a whole nother interview day, but you can take 1 or 2 gummies a day. You don't even have to wear deodorant. I don't wear deodorant, and it literally deodorizes your breath, your armpits, y'all ladies, those of us who are endowed, the private area, and even your feet. And I will tell you, the boo-boo doesn't stink for most people that take it.
Wow.
So that's some of Yeah, yeah. Listen, I'm saving marriages over here. Like, yeah. So that is like my newest. That well, it's not really new, but that is definitely one of my babies that is currently growing. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. And where can we reach you, follow you?
Y'all hit me up. I'm on all social media at I am Tamika Hall, and it's #1. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I do not ever check my Twitter because, like, are we still tweeting? And then also you can hit me up on my website www.tamikahall.com.
Awesome. And if you're looking for publicists or marketing help, media help, make sure you check out Tamika. Again, Tamika, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us. Thank you guys for tuning in, everybody in the chat. Carla, I see you. Carla's so excited for
Love
tomorrow,
it,
honey.
Carla.
My girl
Listen, I
been
gotta
chatting
make
up
sure
the
I'm on
store.
here. I gotta make sure I'm on here because listen, Carla, y'all thought I was passionate.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't
child. Carla will call me 11 o'clock at night and keep me up to 12 till we get it right,
y'all
okay? Carla
listen.
ain't no joke.
Don't y'all wear Carla out with a comma splice
Uh,
or a run-on sentence.
okay, so definitely. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow as we talk everything editing.
Everything.
Everything editing. And no, Grammarly is not editing, but I'll let Carla tell you why. All right, guys, have a good night. Thank you so much.
She said they're not ready.
They're, they're not, but we will get them ready. Thank you so much. And again, if you are looking for a publisher, make sure you contact www.penlegacy.com or you can hit me up in my DM. Have a good and amazing night. Bye, guys.